Hey everyone, it's Tammie, and it's time for a reading update. And I'm recording this a little early. It's about, I think it's June 22nd. I think. I don't know. I never know what day it is. It's June 22nd ish, and we here in Portland are headed toward a major heat wave. So I wanted to get this recorded before the house turns into a oven, and I'm just melting because yeah, it's gonna be hot and we don't have air conditioning. So yeah, and by hot I mean we're headed to about, they're saying 108 to 111 for a couple days, and then we're gonna cool down to 102, and then after that it's going to be in the mid high 90s for a few days, and then we're just going to be freezing after that because it's only going to be about 90 degrees. And if you're in Celsius and you have no idea what all those numbers mean, 111 to 108-ish is about 44, 45, maybe 46, I don't know. 102 is about 42, 43, and high 90s are around 36, 37. And then, as I said, we're going to cool down to about 33, 34-ish. Yeah, so I have cooked a whole ton of food. We have so much food in the fridge right now, so I hope the fridge doesn't go out. But I cooked a whole bunch of food so we don't have to turn on the oven or turn on any stoves. But you know, now I'm starting to think we might just be eating ice cubes for the next week. Who knows? Anyway, so enough about weather and food. It's time for books. As I had in my blog post last time, I don't think I did a video for it. I can't remember these things. I had a reading theme accidentally going on in my May reading, and that theme turned out to be a lot of books involving cannibalism. So it was kind of funny, but I thought, wow, I really like looking and trying to find a theme in what I've read. So in June, the first 3 books I read all had the same sort of like women going on a journey and their lives completely changing. Some for the better, some for the worse. And that's not really that much of a stretch of a theme because, you know, we have in story structure there is called the hero's journey, which is just, you know, kind of pretty much every story can fall into the hero's journey structure where the protagonist, something changes and they go away and do a whole bunch of stuff and life changes for them. So again, it's not that much of a stretch of a theme, but it was just kind of funny that the first 3 books I read all had women leaving home, traveling pretty far, well, except for one, and then lives completely going upside down. So let's just get into this, all right? So the first book is, and I'll also talk about another book I read, which is my indie pick, and I'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, so stop rambling, get to the reviews, lady. So the first book is The Girl Who Died by Ragnar Jonasson. And Ragnar Jonasson is an Icelandic writer, and he's awesome. I get his books and bam, I've read them, they're gone. It's like his writing is just so perfect. I don't want to say he was a scholar of Agatha Christie, but he has translated a lot of Agatha Christie books from English into Icelandic. So a lot of his work kind of has some Agatha Christie kind of twists and turns, and they're some are pretty unexpected of what's going to happen. And this book involved a woman who, her life is not going so well. She's pretty much a loser, okay? She gets a job, she lives in Reykjavik, and she gets a job all the way across the other side of Iceland on this tiny little peninsula where there's only like 10 people living there. And she goes there to be a teacher. Did I say that? Yes. I don't know. Who knows? Now I've said it. She goes there to teach, but there's only 2, you know, young girls there who are her students. So it's a really weird situation, and she gets there, and everybody's kind of really secretive. A lot of people are pretty hostile to her. And, given that there's only 10 people there, you kind of want to get along with those 10 people, but it's really strange. And there's some big secret going on, and nobody wants to tell her about it. Most people just want her to leave. And so there's a lot of strange things going on in the book. And the actual secret that's revealed, it was a little disappointing, but the whole story all the way through, I was just tearing through this book. I think I read it in maybe 3 days, which is pretty much my average with Ragnar Jonasson books. So I do recommend it. So if you like kind of a twisty psychological kind of thriller, then that's for you. The second book I read was a recommendation from sort of a bloggy Instagram friend named Anne Lawson, and she's an artist in Australia, and she does amazing, gorgeous collage work right now is what she's focusing on. This was Miss Benson's Beetle, and it was by Rachel Joyce, and Rachel Joyce has also written I never get the title right, there's a lot of words in it, The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry, and I loved that book. And so when I saw a recommendation for Miss Benson's Beetle, I was like, oh, that name sounds familiar. Rachel Joyce, where have I seen that? Oh yeah, I liked her book. Didn't know she had a new one. So I was pretty happy to finally get this. I put it on hold at the library sometime back maybe in March or April, and I finally just got it in June. So it's a popular book, and I would show you these books, but I have returned them to the library. So I'll have a card at the end that has a picture of the covers and everything. This book, Miss Benson is a teacher, and I'm starting to think maybe I have a teacher theme going on this month instead of a journey theme. But Miss Benson is a teacher, and she's a spinster, and she's not really well liked by her students. Things aren't going that great for her, and then she has a really bad day, and she kind of does something out of character, and then she realizes she doesn't want to just be where she is anymore. She wants to go find this beetle in New Caledonia that she's been obsessed with since she was a little girl. So part of the book involves her trying to find an assistant, which is just kind of a crazy experience for her. And then she finally finds an assistant, and then doesn't find an assistant, and then has to take on a different assistant, the one that she wanted the least, which, a little bit of a spoiler there, but I think you'll know who's going to be the assistant when you start reading this book. And this assistant, she, my goodness, she thinks they're going off to the jungle to explore and uncharted territories, basically. She brings along bikinis, high-heeled sandals, foo-foo dresses, and yeah, it's very, very silly woman. And then they travel to New Caledonia, and a bunch of things going on there. And then, more stuff going on in New Caledonia, where things really start to get a little, it's a pretty funny book all the way up until then, and things start to get a little bit more serious, a little bit more dangerous for them when they get to New Caledonia. It's a really, really, really great book about friendship. If you want to read about friendship, that's a great book. It is funny, and it is heartwarming, and there are times it gets a little slow, but overall it's a pretty quick read. I think I got through it in just like maybe 5 days. I was just kind of, what's gonna happen? So I really like that one. The third journey that my literary ladies took this month was Sophie Kinsella's, that's right, that's her name. Sophie Kinsella's The Undomestic Goddess, and Sophie Kinsella also wrote the Confessions of a Shopaholic, yes, I know my words, which is a pretty popular book, and I haven't read that, but I have read one other book by Sophie Kinsella. The Undomestic Goddess is very much chick lit, and I don't normally read chick lit, but I found this in one of my neighborhood's little free libraries. So I grabbed it, and I couldn't stop reading it. I was just hooked. It's really, really funny, and this woman is just a basket case, and it's almost like slapstick most of the way through the book. But the basic story is this woman is a lawyer in London. She's just, all she wants to do is be a lawyer, and she wants to be a partner, and she's working like 60, 80 hours a week, just, going flat out. Well, she screws up really bad, and she has sort of like, she just panics. She doesn't know what to do. She knows she screwed up. She knows she might have ruined the law firm almost. So she just, in this daze, she just takes off. She ends up on a train. The train breaks down, and she goes to this house. I think she's just going to, she wants a glass of water or something, or maybe to ask directions. I don't know what she's doing. I forget. Sorry. I read it at the beginning of the month, and I've already forgotten it. But she goes to this house. She gets a glass of water, and the people think that she's the maid that is supposed to be coming to be interviewed. And through miscommunication and just sort of more hijinks, she ends up becoming their maid. And it's funny because she doesn't know how to even make toast. She doesn't know how to work a vacuum. She doesn't know how to iron. She doesn't know how to do anything. And so it's really funny watching her just like flounder around, and it's very slapsticky. It is kind of ridiculous in some spots because she learns how to cook everything in like one day of cooking lessons pretty much. And it is kind of predictable, but there's a lot going on at the end that you're kind of wondering like, oh, what's gonna go on? But it is predictable. So, but still, it was a really fun read, and I tore through that one too. I don't know, I was like reading like a mad woman at the beginning of the month. So yeah, if you like funny books, even if you don't like chick lit, give it a try. And the final book I'm going to talk about is my indie pick of the month. And I usually do this on my blog, and I think I'm going to start doing this more in the videos because indie authors deserve to be noticed. And hint, 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 no bias there or anything, right? So this book, I have the cover. Hold on. I actually have the cover for this one because I bought it. If the Kindle would come on, we could do this. So the book is called Baking Bad. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Baking Bad by Kim M. Watt. And if that name sounds familiar, over on my blog and BookBub or something, I don't know, various places, I have gone on and on about her other series, like the Gobelina London series, several times. Those two books were A Scourge of Pleasantries and A Melee of Mages, and that's book 1 and book 4 of that series. This is book 1 of her Beaufort Scales mystery series, and it was just absolutely delightful. And I just have to say that, like, Kim mentioned my story, Mrs. Morris Meets Death, which is my newsletter kind of lure to bribe people onto the newsletter. She mentioned that story in her last newsletter video sort of thing, and I got a ton of signups. So welcome, new people. And so I was just like, I was floored. It was like, getting recommended by one of the authors that you really just like, really like, was just a big boost for the month. And really made me happy, which is not why I'm recommending this book. I really, 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 truly did enjoy it. It was so much fun to read. It's a cozy mystery. It's set in a little English town called Toothantzel, and the vicar gets poisoned, and it's like a cozy mystery, and they have to figure out who killed him. Sounds pretty standard, right? Well, no, because a couple of the characters are dragons, and they're helping solve this murder. So sleuthing dragons, I mean, yay! What more can you want? It was really funny, and it was really charming, and there's lots of pastries, yum, yum, yum. And there's even recipes at the end, so even better. And the beginning, I was kind of overwhelmed because of the first chapter. There's just like a ton of characters being thrown at you, but don't worry, it it smooths out from there, and you sort out who the main characters are. The main characters are two women and the two dragons. The book is, I have an itch on my knee, I'm sorry. The book is only 99 cents on most places, so seriously, try it. It's hilarious, it's cute, it's charming, it's not predictable, and I just really liked it, and I think you should read it. So, yeah, I think that's it for me. I can already feel the house warming up. No. So yeah, that's it, and I hope y'all have a great rest of the month or week or day. Don't know, any of those. So, all right. I will chat at you next time. All right. Bye-bye.